Why was Casey Anthony found not guilty based on circumstantial evidence? Imagine being in a courtroom where every piece of evidence is like a puzzle piece, but none fit perfectly to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That's exactly what happened in the Casey Anthony case. Casey Anthony was accused of killing her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, but the jury decided she was not guilty. So, why did they reach that verdict? The answer lies in the nature of the evidence presented and how the jury saw it. Most of the prosecution's case was built on circumstantial evidence. That means they didn't have a direct witness or a clear confession linking Casey to Kaylee's death. Instead, they pointed to things like a piece of duct tape found near Kaylee's skull. The prosecution argued that the tape was used to suffocate Kaylee. But the defense challenged this, saying the skull still had the lower jaw attached, which is unusual if suffocation by duct tape had occurred. They also questioned whether the tape was even the cause of death. Another piece of evidence involved odor detection dogs and chemical tests. These tests suggested decomposition, odors in Casey's car and her family's backyard. However, these methods are not always reliable. Some of the chemicals expected in human decomposition were missing, and the testing techniques used are debated among experts. This made the evidence less convincing to the jury. The prosecution also pointed to internet searches for terms like chloroform and neck breaking. They suggested Casey was planning something premeditated. But the problem was, there was no proof Casey herself did those searches. Some searches were later linked to her mother, not Casey. Without clear proof she searched for these terms, the jury couldn't be sure she was planning to harm her daughter. Toxicology tests on Kaylee's remains showed no chemicals like chloroform. This weakened the theory that Casey used chemicals to incapacitate Kaylee. Plus, there was no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, and no confession. The cause of Kaylee's death was never definitively established. The defense argued that Kaylee's death was accidental, possibly by drowning in the family pool. They also suggested that Casey's father might have been involved in a cover-up. Witness testimonies about the smell of decomposition and other details were inconsistent or exaggerated. In the end, the jury decided that the evidence was not enough to eliminate all reasonable doubt. Without direct proof linking Casey to her daughter's death, they could not convict her of first-degree murder. She was found not guilty of the most serious charges but was convicted on lesser charges related to lying to law enforcement. This case shows how tricky it can be to secure a conviction based solely on circumstantial evidence. It highlights the importance of having clear, direct proof and credible witnesses. It also demonstrates how forensic science has limits and how jury perceptions can influence the outcome, especially in high-profile cases with lots of media attention.